So this past weekend, Katie Taylor retained her lightweight titles again. This fight's legacy is probably going to be it was the fight that really put the Croke Park talk into full motion. And make no mistake about it, Katie Taylor has to fight in Croke Park before she retires. But there are a few things that need to be cleared up before it happens. One of them has a $5 million bounty on his head, courtesy of the FBI. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's a bit depressing, but suffice to say, that issue needs to be resolved before any of this can happen. The next big thing to talk about is when this will happen. Obviously you might say next year, but you have to pick the right time. So if I were to hazard a guess, I would say it'll be sometime in March or April. It's after the National League ends, but it's before the championship starts. It's as good a time of year as any in terms of the weather. I mean, you can never be too sure with the weather in Ireland, but the likelihood of it raining or hailing or sleeting or something is less than what it would be in other months. And also it's the right time of year in terms of Katie being ready to go. She'll need some time off, so April or such would give her plenty of time to be ready to go again. But perhaps the most important question is, who is she going to be fighting? Now, to be honest, Katie could probably fight a broomstick and it would draw loads and loads of people, but we want this event to be the biggest thing it can be. One of the reasons why Eddie Hearn was reluctant to put Katie into Croke Park with too much haste is that he felt like you need the right opponent to sell the most amount of tickets. And to be fair, he is right, but I think Hearn has realised now that just waiting for that opponent to come by is not going to cut it anymore. So who is it actually going to be? Well, in an ideal world, it's an Amanda Serrano rematch. The biggest fight women's boxing ever had, probably the best fight women's boxing ever had. The best way to ramp it up a level is to take it to an even bigger venue with an even more rabid crowd. Another option is Jessica McCaskill. Now, Katie's actually already beaten McCaskill, but it's one of those instances where that win has aged like a fine wine. Because since that fight for £135 gold, McCaskill has gone on to become the undisputed champion at £147. And ever since that fight ended, she's always kept Katie's name in her mouth. So it would make sense in terms of selling tickets. The respectful home champion versus the gobby challenger, it would be box office. You should also be looking at Estelle Mosley, and if you don't know who that is, I made an entire video about her a year ago. Check it out right here. And of course, in terms of a big opponent, it wouldn't get much bigger than a crossover fight with Holly Holm. Former boxing champion in her own right, became UFC champion by knocking out Ronda Rousey, and both Katie and Holly have entertained the fight, so in terms of putting butts in seats, that might be the best option of them all. Now, as I've outlined, there are a lot of things to consider with Katie in Croke Park, so it could take a while for this to come together. But I do believe Katie Taylor will fight in Croke Park before her career is over, for no other reason that it'd be a crime if she didn't.